Welcome to BodyWork. Welcome back. It's Michael Rogers. Welcome to BodyWorkBoxing. Adversity University. Starring Speedy, Rashidi, Ellis, and Jaron Boots Ennis. And we'll be saying Ellis and Ennis. Let's start with Ellis. I know he was severely disappointed. Hold your head up, young king. You have nothing to hold your head down. You have some things that you need to go back to the lab and work on, but you can hold your head high. You know, maybe it was some of the ring rust. Maybe it was some conditioning. You know, I asked the question, did Speedy Rashidi gas in the 6th? I heard a lot of that going on today. You know, however, everything being considered, I seen him winning the first 8 rounds. You can't convince me otherwise that he didn't win the first 8. Now, the knockdowns late in the game is what the deciding factor was. And often I always talk about when it comes down to ring generalship, if you are that boxer, that pure boxer that want to hit and move, stick and move, you know, hit and not get hit, if you take that philosophy and you're going to use your lateral movement, you're going to be running around. A lot of the times in the area of ring generalship, they're looking at the aggressor, the one trying to make the fight, try to bring the action. They're looking at them winning in that category. That's the only way I could deem that some of those earlier rounds, they could have edged out to Romain Villa when he had success and he actually hit Speedy Rashidi. The biggest mistake was Speedy Rashidi backing straight out. That was the biggest thing. I think his conditioning had took a hit at some point, and backing straight back with your hands down is going to equate to man down. And Villa was just a tough cookie. He was just cracking away. We heard from Samson today. He was on the show today. Salute to them for getting the interview. They know who they are. And Samson said that was the game plan. They said they watched film and they saw that Rashidi gas out after the halfway point. So they said that their game plan was to stop, was to keep something in the tank and know that as the later it goes, especially the second half, is when to crank it up, and that's really what it was. Now, having the knockdowns coming down on paper, regardless how you want to slice it, dice it, his corner said, going into the final round, he said, you gotta knock him out. He did not knock him out. There was a discrepancy in the call and everything, but once again, that's all in the politics of in the rule books of how the boxing matches are scored, and the judges render the verdict heavily weighted by the 2 knockdowns. I don't think Speedy Rashidi lost the fight. However, there was something that they could hold and point to say, to warrant the decision that they made. What does it mean for Speedy? This means you need to come right back. Exercise the rematch, come right back. You can come back, get back, go back to the lab, work on what you need to work on, develop some more skills, work on your conditioning a little bit more, work on maybe sitting down a little bit more. I'm thinking if you would have been more aggressive and loaded up on some of them combinations at some point to really stop this guy, because he was like a Terminator, maybe the verdict would have been different. I still believe he won. I don't think he should hold his head down. I think he does have some things he knows he needs to work on. That's his adversity. All boxers go through adversity at university. It builds character. It helps them be better in the future. And I think that Speedy Rashidi, man, don't get down. Don't listen to the news clippings. Don't listen to everybody who wants to. This is one of them things where if you like Boots and you bought into the the back and forth between Ellis and Ennis before this fight, then you're finding all kind of reasons as to why you want to hate on Speedy Rashidi. You know what I'm saying? And vice versa. Let's talk about Jaron Boots Ennis. Yes, Jaron suffered adversity in this fight. Yes, he did. And I'm seeing a lot of people, because they might be Spence lovers, or they might be Bud lovers, or they were attacking Boots, what I'm saying, oh, he's overrated, he's this and he's that. And then some people are giving credence to some of that. Some people seeing this dude carrying Chuka John actually go in there and pivot and move and, you know, cause Boots some difficulty in honing in on his target. After the fight, Boots said that he could have cut the ring off better. That came out of his mouth, you know, but then they started with the running thing. Now, this is where I come in my opinions, you know what I'm saying, and what I have come into play. We gotta stop moving these goalposts, because I remember a couple weeks ago when T.O., you know, he didn't get the job done. He got an ugly dub, and the refs, you know, in there was a knockdown that wasn't scored, you know, but in that win, he was saying that Sandro Martin was running. I was saying no, he was not running. He was actually, you know, trying to become or working in the vein of being a counterpuncher. He was being opportunistic, but he was using angles, he was using pivots, he was, you know, on the back foot, and everybody was like, you know, saying, no, he wasn't running. T.O. just got to learn how to cut the ring. Now, since we're talking about the young phenom from Philly, you know, all the leopards are changing their spots. Like, oh, no, man, that dude was running all like, no. Boots himself said he had issues with cutting off the ring. He probably could have cut the ring off better is what he said. You know, I saw at least 3 times where Boots swung and missed so much that he spun around. Against these high-level elite guys, you can't afford to do that. So there is some prudence to, you know, we got to give some kind of credence to some people that say, hey, hold on, let's see, is he ready? Now, should we deny him? Should he be denied? No, he's right there. You know, he can't help but be ready. You know what I'm saying? But I was also saying that when I heard the stance of Boots and how, you know, he said he didn't want to fight anybody behind him or down him, I'm like, well, hold on, man. If you go, so it's either the very best of the best, or you're not gonna fight anybody else that's in the pack, but all these other guys are avoiding you. No, you gotta take and eliminate some of these guys. And this is why I say these Virgils, these Boots, all of these guys, these Stanionis, they all have to fight each other. Because on any given night, people are saying a bad night. I would say that would be a bad night. You know, when you come in, you talking about you want to do what Mike Tyson did, and that's another thing about social media. A la like when Devin came in and said he was going to beat Gamboa worse than he ever was going to beat, and he didn't. Boots started talking that Mike Tyson stuff in there, and the dude, Cameron, gave him pivot work. You know, I saw this guy hit Boots with a lot of lead lefts. A lot of lead left 1-2s, a lot of lead lefts just straight up, a lot of body shots off the lead left. You know, I saw him create angles, and I saw a setup, I saw a trap that if he had any power with that pivot he was doing, if he could have just sat down with a straight right down the pike, if he had any more power, the fight would have took on a totally different complexion. Giving Boots a total shutout, saying that he won every round, I didn't see it that way. Now, you know, the guy won a couple rounds. I'm not going to go, it's a lot of people that's going into it. I would, you know, if somebody wanted to engage in what I actually saw in the fight, I could, but the guy did win at least one round. He did win a couple rounds, but he presented some problems. You know, to anybody else, people are saying, well, what would he do against Keith Thurman? And then you got some people that's going overboard. People who don't want to see him fight Bud. People who don't really want to see him fight Spence. They're just bandwagoning on the hate. But we got to be very careful with these conversations we have. Because when it comes down to Devin, you know what I'm saying? When it comes down to Devin or Boots or some of these up-and-coming fighters who got a lot of momentum and a lot of people are jumping on and riding like that, you know, who haven't fought the everybody's that's going around. Whenever these kind of things happen, we make excuses for bad performances. And when you point out what your eyes clearly see, what your ears clearly heard, you know what I'm saying, and the feeling that you got when you was watching the fight, when you state just the obvious, it's deemed as hate. No, it's not. It's observing things. And that goes to the point. This is my last thing as far as Adversity University. The last time I had Ryu Villanueva in it, and I had Brandon Lee in it. And we saw what Ryu happened. You know, he got stopped by De Los Santos. That was his Adversity University. I had Gary Antoine Russell. He had got popped real good by Francis Bartholomew. That was his Adversity University. And Brandon Lee, he got dropped and put on his back pockets. That was against Madera. That was his Adversity University. Now, Brandon Lee and Gary Antoine, they suffered adversity, but they passed, right? I think that Ennis and Ellis, they both are going to pass this adversity, especially Boots. He clearly passed because he won. Speedy Rashidi got a bad decision. You know what I'm saying? If, you know, are you going to go around and shoot anybody for the verdict? No, but he did get robbed. You know what I'm saying? He did get robbed. That was the verdict. But we got to stop moving goalposts when it comes to these favorite fighters. You know, what we're creating a monster where you can see something in a boxing event, have dialogue about it the very next day, and people are going to say you're hating for stating the obvious. Okay? We got to stop doing that. Regardless of which fighter you like, which fighter you don't really care for, and which style you like. Styles make fights. And if we're going to judge these things and have these different philosophies, we can't change them from boxer to boxer. You know, I want to know what you think. You know, both of these guys suffered some adversity this week. You know, I think both of the appearance or the establishment, and, you know, and it happens. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you can easily say they both didn't have the best nights at the office, you know, but you can draw away from a lot of the strengths that they showed. You know, you clearly can see a lot of the mistakes. So if we're going to have healthy dialogue, we need to be able to talk about the good, the bad, and ugly all the same and get somewhere in this boxing talk. Because right now, if we run with what everybody's saying, then we're never going to get the Boots and the Spencers because they're not ready. Even though he might not be really ready to get in there, but it's not to drive a point to where they shouldn't fight. And then we're possibly never going to get the Ellis and Ennis now because people saying Ellis got exposed. You know, and the truth is somewhere in the middle. It's like, yeah, we saw some things from Ellis. He made a mistake. He got caught. You know, but he won the first 8 rounds. You know, Boots, arguably, he won 10 or 11 out of the 12. But we did see some things in that fight, and we got to be real about it. Thanks for all my new subscribers. You know, thanks for the likes, the shares, the clicks, the views. You know, we keep it all the way funky. You know what I'm saying? It was still a good night of boxing, and I just wanted to go over Adversity University here at Bodywork Boxing, where we don't take things for face value. We do that body work.